Call the meeting of the Whittier Regional Vocational School Committee to order. Please call the roll.
Mr. Early,
Here.
Ms. Sullivan,
Here.
Mr. Rossi.
Here.
Ms. Coppinger.
Yes.
Ms. Delai.
Here.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Present.
Mr. Paglia.
Here.
Mr. Murphy.
Here.
Ms. Lowell. Mr. Bowe.
Here.
Ms. True.
Here.
Ms. O'Connor.
Here.
Mr. Slavoski. And Chair.
Here. Y'all please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Those attending tonight's meeting should be aware that the meeting is being audio and video recorded by Whittier Tech. Any audience member who wishes to record any part of the meeting must inform the chairperson who will announce the recording. This is to comply with the Mass Wiretap statute. First item on the agenda is public comment. Is there anyone here for public comment? Anyone for public comment? Did we receive any emails for public comment?
Did not.
Seeing none, next item on the agenda. Approval of minutes, August 13, 2025, minutes of the regular school committee meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Murphy, seconded by Mr. Fitzgerald. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Early,
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
Mr. Rossi.
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger.
Yes.
Ms. Delai.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Paglia.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Bowe.
Yes.
Ms. True.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
And the Chair.
Yes, passes. Next item, August 13, 2025, minutes of the executive session. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ms. O'Connor, seconded by Ms. Coppinger. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Early,
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
Mr. Rossi.
Stayed on that one.
Ms. Coppinger.
Yes.
Ms. Delai.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Paglia.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Bowe.
Yes.
Ms. True.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
And the Chair.
Yes, passes. Next item on the agenda is the treasurer's report for August. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve?
Motion by Ms. True, second by Mr. Fitzgerald. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Mr. Early,
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
Mr. Rossi.
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger.
Yes.
Ms. Delai.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Paglia.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Bowe.
Yes.
Ms. True.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
And the Chair.
Yes, passes. Next item on the agenda, communication, student representative report, Richard DeChico.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent Lynch, and all other members of the school committee. We're very excited to kick off this year's clubs and sports. Our annual club fair is taking place this week, and all the many clubs we offer are looking forward to students signing up and participating. Now getting into sports. The football program is off to a great start. Both the varsity and JV teams won their week 1 games. The freshman team will play their first game next week, and varsity has D1 Lawrence coming here tomorrow night. Overall, the program is showing strong numbers and a bright future. The boys and girls cross-country teams have strong participation to the start of the season, with all of their top runners returning from last year. The teams recently competed in the Clippers Relay in Newburyport for the first time in program history. Their first home meet was scheduled for today against Shawsheen. The girls' volleyball program had record numbers this year, with over 85 students attending tryouts. The JV and varsity teams played 2 preseason scrimmages against Salem High School and Ipswich High. Their first season game was last Thursday against Greater Lowell. It was a competitive match, but both teams came up short, starting the season with 0-1 records. Exciting matchups are coming. The boys' soccer team is gradually building into the season with a very young roster. They currently hold a 0-2 record, but are working to rebound quickly. Despite the early setbacks, the outlook remains optimistic. The team is focused on improving the small details that will make a big difference as the season progresses. This week, they host Lawrence and Mystic Valley at home on Tuesday and Wednesday. The girls' varsity soccer team features a young roster as well. The season began with 2 losses, but the team earned its first win on Saturday. That victory has boosted morale, and the players are practicing with renewed energy. The team is optimistic and anticipates a successful season ahead. And the cheer team has been working hard and is looking forward to performing this Thursday at the football home opener. That's the student rep report.
Thank you very much. Nice job.
Nice job.
Next item on the agenda is going to be new staff introductions. Mr. Legatus.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent Lynch, rest of the school committee members. Ricky, that's a radio voice. That's a pretty good voice. I was like, whoa, how am I going to follow that? Anyway, I'm lucky enough to come up here every year and introduce our new staff to the Whittier family, and that's what I have here. So we'll start with Jennifer Harold, our school nurse. Come on up, Jennifer. All right, just so you can stand right here. We'll get everybody. Timothy Lane, electrical instructor. Judurkis Light, did I say that right, I hope? Judurkis Light, Spanish instructor. Tyler Mabry, maintenance mechanic. Tara McDonald, Cosmo instructor. And Paul Pierre, electrical maintenance department. And I'd like to introduce you to the school committee and welcome to our Whittier family, everyone.
Thank you. Welcome.
Any speeches? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Next item on the agenda is going to be Massachusetts Association of Regional Schools presentation on the process for amending regional agreement. Madam Superintendent, do you want to
Sure.
introduce him?
Good afternoon. This is Steve from the Massachusetts Association of Regional Schools. Steve, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right. So I passed out a PowerPoint that Steve is going to go through with us today, just so that the school committee can have an understanding of the work that needs to happen as we move forward. So, Steve, I'm handing it off to you.
Thank you, Superintendent Lynch. I'm Steve Hammond with the Massachusetts Association of Regional Schools called MARS. I believe you are members of MARS. We put together a PowerPoint on amending the agreement. Just briefly, myself, I was superintendent in Central Mass at Narragansett Regional School District. And I retired in 08, and I started working with him, became executive director for MARS, and did that until 15. Then I went back to my own district as an interim superintendent and back again to MARS. We founded a MARS consulting group in 2012, and we've worked with regional districts in some towns on projects for updating regional agreements, even forming new regions. So we have quite a bit of experience in that area. So next slide, please. Hit it, please. Things are going to come up. So one of the things, okay, stop right there, please. Stop. I'm going further. Well, one of the things when you're going to amend your agreement, there's a process that we developed, and we've worked with the Department of Education on a recommendation to you in the process. So one of the first things is you review your current regional agreement for procedures for amending. We're going to talk about review state laws concerning regions. We suggest you form a regional amendment committee, a subcommittee, RAC, interesting name, and with the looking at to update the regional agreement. Develop community relation process, get the information out, what are you doing? Next, please. One of the things, review and suggest amendments to the current regional agreement. You would come up, you review it, and then you take a look and see where do you need to make updates in your regional agreement. Next. When submitting an amendment, all parts of a regional agreement must be in compliance with state laws and regulations. The Department of Education will not approve in a regional agreement, amended regional agreement, unless it complies with all state laws and regulations. Next, you then produce an amended agreement. Now, I need to make clear, in this case, you don't open a regional agreement, you amend that agreement. If you go through the amendment process and then it doesn't get done, you still have that agreement, the original agreement you have would still be enforced until a new one, and we'll talk about the process how the new one gets approved. Next. See, what you'll do is, once you have produced an amended agreement, and you come up with what you want, how you want to add to it, change it, you would seek preliminary approval from the Commissioner of Education, basically the Department of Education staff. They go through it, they also send it to their legal, to make sure everything is correct with the state laws and regulations. Then if something isn't, they'll send back your agreement that you have produced for them, and they have to make the changes, so then you have to get their approval before you can go forward. Next. Then the amendment agreement is voted in each town. And I think you have a city in yours, so each town or city has to approve it by a majority at their town meeting or their city council, and it's by a majority vote. Next. Final approval by the commissioner is done after it's supposed to be done, and you send in the agreement with from each town that the towns have voted it, and then you have a regional agreement. So now we're gonna go into some more details on it, and some things that we're gonna look at, some of the things, processes that you need to do, that we recommend that you do. So, next slide, please. You go to your agreement, and you take a look at the section on amendment. This is a general type of wording that has been used, and I think it's similar to what the US State did not. This is what we, when we do presentations, and say maybe agreement may be amended time to time, in the manner herein provided, but no such amendment shall be made which substantially impair the rights of holders of bonds and notes or other indebtedness of the district. And then the procedures, then you take the contract procedures on the amending process. So when you're going to start this, that's one of the first things we'll look at in your agreement. And I believe your agreement is 1967, am I correct, when it was started?
Yes.
I'm correct on that. 1967 on the agreement, I have the copy in that, so that's when your agreement was signed. That's when you founded Whittier. Next. Would you go back one? Okay, remember, you go back one, please. I think you dumped it head on me. Okay, yeah. Amendment proposed by a district, by a town participating, is what you have to do is it's a process that gets sent out to the towns, and you get that on a warrant for city council for approval of that, of the amended agreement. So there's a process you gotta follow, and take a look in your agreement how it states that. Generally, this is very similar to what most agreements have. Next. State laws and regional amendment agreements. Go ahead, next. The regional agreement must address all sections outlined in Chapter 71, Section 14B. It's the rights and duties of a school committee and to run a regional school district. Also, the department's put out is a checkoff list that we use going through to make sure all the sections are in there and what they require to be in a regional agreement. Next. Review must be sure that all required sections are up to date and addressed. As I said earlier, the department would not approve your agreement if there are sections that not address laws or regulations. Next. Governance and assessment. Go ahead. Okay. School committee composition, one person, one vote. Chapter 71, Section 14E outlines that. And I believe I looked at your agreement that your members you are appointed by, I believe, your selectmen or your city council, your city, and that is acceptable for one person, one vote. And that's a very important thing that the TESC looks at. And the other thing is the assessment methodology. All regional agreements are required to have a statutory method, and you can also have an alternate method, an agreement method if you want. But the statutory method is now required. Next. Go ahead. Options select school committee members, that's the Section 7114E, that's it, but again, you're in compliance with that in your current agreement. Next. Piece of it. There are 5 ways to choose school committee members and be in compliance. So we review this every time. Some districts are different on that, how they do it. There are, again, next, I think you're okay with it, but we said there are 5 ways to do it. Each region has a little difference. But again, you are in compliance, as I can see, you're appointed by elected officials. Next. Assessments. We talked about this statutory method. again, hit it, please. In the agreement method, the statutory method is defined as you take the budget and you divide it into a section called operating budget. You have then transportation, debt and capital, and then you have the RIA process that you then have to take when you start with your budget, you minus your chapter 70, require minimum local contributions, any other rate, and then you have an amount above. And normally, that you don't have, chapter 70 and the minimum local contributions really don't provide you enough to this amount above. You have to have a system by which that amount above that you would then assess that out to the number of towns. You can have an agreement method, which you can use, and you could do that if you want to develop it. I think right now you use a sort of a agreement method on your user population, but you don't have a statutory method that I saw in your agreement. So you would have to do, if you're going to amend it, I'm sure the department would make you put a statutory method in. Next. First step, so the school committee appoints a regional agreement amendment RAC committee. Membership of the RAC, what we suggested, there would be members from the town. You've got 11 towns, so you've got at least 11 members. But again, you want to get a committee anywhere from 10 to 15. This is not required, but this is suggested that we go through how we suggested. Because one of the things is you're a member of the school committee, and then we recommend that you might want to ask members from the community. The next one, please, hit it again. So what you might want to do is have members from the community, you select them like you or whatever appropriate, and ask them to be on the committee. They can go through it and they can work with you and what the towns might think and what they were looking for. But also when you're going out to the towns to get it approved, they can help you get it approved. So the RAC writes amendments to the regional agreement. Next. The RAC reviews the regional agreement for compliance, making sure that, make sure everything's there. Produces amended agreement. Now remember, don't forget that the current agreement is still in place. You're only doing and producing an amended agreement. Next. RAC writes the school committee approval or no approval. So they go back to the school committee. The school committee can say, yeah, we agree with it, or they can make some changes. They approve it, they can send it back. But again, the school committee gets involved in approving that amended agreement. Next. School committee votes to approve, not approve, or change the amendment updated to the regional agreement submitted by the RAC. Next. Amended agreement sent to DESE for initial approval. And when I say initial approval, if they say, okay, we go through it, we take a look at it, all your sections. They also help you understanding maybe some sections you might want to change a little bit. They give you some suggestions, and sometimes they'll give you requirements. But the amended agreement, the initial approval, then after you get the initial approval, next. The amendment is sent to the select each town after initial approval by DESE. Next. Then selectmen will place an article on the warrant on the next town meeting with the city council to them. Voters approve or disapprove amended agreement. So what happens then is on the town meeting warrant, voters receive the page, and we have the 12, 13, 14 pages. A lot of times you'll have to be putting together summaries of what you've done and how you made changes, so they can vote on it. When it goes to the town meetings, the city councils, it's an up or down vote. They cannot change it, because everybody has the same thing. I believe currently your agreement calls for approval by all towns. That is not a requirement. You can change that. You could have, you have 11, I believe. You could have 9 have to approve it. That's in the agreement. Those can be changed. But again, voters have to understand what you're trying to do. Next. If approved, signed agreement and certified vote sent to DESE. Next. Commissioner approves the amended agreement, provided it's in compliance. Again, so then when it comes back, you have an approved agreement, Commissioner signs it, and then you can move forward with how you want to do it. Certain things you might want to change then become effective. Next. One of the things, remember, process requires careful thought. Next. Need to develop community relations program. You need to let your communities know what's going on. That's why we suggested you might have on your subcommittee, the RAC, you might want to have people from the communities involved with that, because then they can, help you get it passed, that they've agreed with it, and they help you get it passed at town meetings and the city council. So again, this can take up to a year or more. Next. Recommendation of facilitators and legal assistants. That's where we come in. If you want to hire us to work with you, we can. Also, you have a lawyer, district council. Again, we'll be looking at it and dealing if you have facilitators. Again, making sure it's in compliance. Also, making sure you put something in there that's be legal, but it's really what you want and what does it mean. So, again, that's why you want to make you do it very carefully to make sure that there's something that you thought you said, but maybe you really interpret it that way. Next. Now, what is on file with DESC? Well, I interject today, I thought the DESC to Michelle Griffin, and your agreement is on file, and you have some amendments there that have taken place. One of the things is that your original amendment, when you was done, the fiscal year was the calendar year, and then the state legislature in the 1970s changed it, and then they passed a law that allowed the committee to change it to a fiscal year of July to June, which you're doing. However, your agreement would need to be updated in those dates and so forth, and there are some updates that you've done. So again, some of those necessary ones that haven't been done. But I looked briefly at it, so there are some things you probably would need to address. Next. Has your agreement updated with amendments that have been approved by the towns? Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure how many times you've gone out, but at least there's some things in there that have been updated, so the department has that. Next. And they do have all amendments that I was given your agreement by the superintendent email, and they do have those amendments at the time to file. We run into other districts where not all the amendments got approved by the towns, but they didn't send it into the department to be approved. So by that goes to be all your amendments are up to date, and they have that. So that's the good news. Next. So we're going to update the agreement with all the amendments into one document, if you can do, and again, updating some of those things that, when you, certain things are due, and updating, says fiscal year, calendar year, and you change it so that it'll be up-to-date document, then I have to look at other parts of it and follow through. Next. I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have. You can probably stop the PowerPoint, and Chairman and Superintendent, I'd be glad to answer any questions of the committee.
Thank you. Questions? Mr. Lai.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Mary Delai here. I think I heard you say that the existing agreement stays in place until a new one, an amended one, comes forward. So therefore, based on the current agreement, all cities and towns would have to pass it, each one, right? Because the old rules would
Okay, I
apply.
have a little hard time hearing, but the answer is the current agreement would stay in place until the new one is then voted by the towns and signed by the commissioner.
Right, so all towns would have to adopt this in order for it to prevail. It'd have to be
Well,
unanimous.
Under the current agreement, through a new agreement, you could change that if you wanted to.
Right, but that
We
new,
had to see-
that new agreement
I'm
wouldn't,
sorry?
that new agreement wouldn't go into effect until it was voted, so,
Right,
so it would then, the old rules would apply, so all towns and cities would have to approve this.
that is correct, and then, but in the new agreement, we're seeing many towns are saying like, 3/4 of the towns, or like 6 towns, you have to have 4 out of the 6 have to approve it. That would be the new agreement, and then going forward.
Thank you.
Anything else? That's it? Mr. Early.
Sure.
Mr. Rossi.
Hi, Mike Rossi. The question I have is, where are the last few places that you're aware of that have done a regional agreement amendment change?
Well, we've done several different, we've done quite a list of them, but it's very common to update your regional agreement. One of the things we work very closely out in Central Mass with the Spencer's Brookfield District, they updated their agreement. We've worked out, and, other towns, I don't have the list right in front of me, but I can produce that list for you on where we've worked on updating their regional agreements. We work closely with the department to make sure, and what we do is we set up, if you form the RAC and then you hire us to work with you, then we set up at least every month, and we take one section at a time, 2 sections at each meeting, updating that. We get input from the committee, input from your superintendent, and so forth, on what you need to change in that agreement. And we also go through it and we'll look at it and say, these sections really, you need to address these and look at that. Also, I think, I don't know, what happens is, I'm going to explain to you, that you take your current agreement, and I'm not sure it's been on, is it on Microsoft Word, I hope? If not, it's gonna have to be. And what happens is the department says, we take that agreement in Microsoft Word, then we go through and make changes on that, and track changes, so they can see what has changed. And then after we keep the track changes, then we hit the button and say, okay, make it a clean copy. And that is what has to go to the department. They would take your current agreement, the track change, where the changes took place, and then a clean copy. So they're very specific on how you get their approval, what you have to do. But what's good about doing the track changes, you can see and explain to people where the changes, what you're making, and why.
Thank you. And on that, on the regional committee, the RAC, generally, what's the general composition of that? School committee members, town members, finance board members? What does that look like?
Yeah, you choose how many. The problem I guess, if it gets too wide, too big, it gets very difficult, to get business done, trying to get your quorum, because you're subject to the open meeting law. And so, we estimate anywhere from 10 to 15, and if you want to at least have each town covered, now the school committee can do the RAC if you want, but generally, you have the subcommittee do it, and then you get a second look at it and see if it's okay to do. Now, you probably want at least 5 members from the committee, maybe 6. Are there 11 members in the committee or more?
14.
14. Yeah, you would have to choose how many you want of the committee. Remember, that's another meeting out for people, so make sure that they would want to do it. And that you would then choose how many, maybe half of that, and then maybe you want to get from the other town somebody, another 7, maybe up to 14, and ask those that are interested that would help you, and also get the flavor from the communities as you're doing it. And it's public relations, and again, form of public relations, so you're sending out to your communities, to selectmen, FinComs, city council, so they know what you're doing, so it's not a surprise when it goes forward,
Thank you very
and
much.
why you're doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Early?
Yeah, Dick Early Jr., Haverhill representative, 1 of 2. You said on the recommended steps and amending, school committee appoints the regional. Is it the Whittier School Committee or the town school committees?
No, the Whittier School Committee is in charge of the school, the Whittier vocational. They would appoint members to that RAC, that subcommittee, to proceed with updating the regional agreement.
Okay,
You're
so,
the appointing authority for that.
okay,
You would
then,
ask the towns if they have somebody they would like to have, and then please send the name, and then they could be appointed by the school committee.
okay. Then it also said school committee votes to approve, not approve, or change the amendment and updates. This school committee does, the Whittier?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Your school committee, you take a second look at the at the agreement, everything's what you expected and wanted, then you can vote it, you can say, okay, we like everything but section 5D, we wanna have that, take a look at it again. You can either send it back to the RAC, or you can make the changes. But the case is that you're the committee that will send that out to the towns, for their, review and proposal, and a town meeting to approve it.
You said that the Haverhill, there's been some changes and amendments to the existing one now. How many and when?
I'm sorry,
You said that,
I don't understand the question, I'm having a hard time hearing.
you said that the existing agreement has had some amendments? The current existing agreement? Is that true?
The way you were allowed to take the
No.
current agreement and you're allowed to amend it.
No, have we
and
had
so-
it? A little while ago, you said we've had an amendment before on our existing.
Yes, there were amendments that were done a number of years ago that you did on your agreement, that you came with or something, like one of the things Merrimack, I think, joined. And then
Okay.
you changed the dates of your assessments. And then in '74, you changed the things, I'm looking through the budget section, how you would do that. So you have I went to 72, 73, 74. Those were amendments that were there. Also, you show in the agreement that the state passed a law that the committee could amend the agreement for the fiscal year.
All right,
So those are the only ones. You don't have anything
Okay.
since 70, since I have been given since 74.
all right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none? Thank you. No other questions from
I
the
hope
committee?
this has been helpful to you. We've tried to provide information how to go about this in a logical way. If you want to talk to any people that we've worked with before, Superintendent, Mr. Chair, I gave you some names of people that we've done work with them on updating their agreement. So we'd like to do anything that we can and give you any assistance.
Thank you very much for your help. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You would have to, if you ever wanted to hire us, you'd have to produce a request for proposal or a request for services following the bid law.
Gotcha. Thank you very much.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Principal Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Leganis.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent Lynch, rest of the school committee members. I have my report, and it's all about the school opening, if you can believe it. I think we've had 9 days of actual class time and shop time, so it's been an amazing start. So I'll give you a little rundown. On August 19th, we held a successful freshman and new parent-student orientation from 6 to 7:30 in the cafeteria, which filled with parents and guardians. The session covered key topics: school safety, student discipline and expectations, student services, internet use, parent portals, parent involvement, sports, athletics, extracurricular clubs, and the Booster Club information. We also introduced our student freshman orientation days and offered tours of the building. Additionally, which was absolutely amazing, incoming students enjoyed a movie up in the auditorium when the parents were downstairs. And we also had students that came a few days earlier, our student government kids, about 50 of them in there showcasing Whittier Tech. And it was an amazing night. On Monday, the 25th, our entire staff gathered in the cafeteria, and Superintendent Lynch welcomed everybody back to Whittier, along with the newest members of our Whittier family. This year's theme focuses on positive culture that we've built over the years, highlighting strength of the positive relationships, kindness, gratitude, and teamwork. We all know that we're at our best when we come together to the benefit of children. That includes everyone here. After lunch, our staff participated in a carousel, and the PD is usually done by us, and we found that very successful. Us meaning our staff members and ourselves and the admin. Our staff participated in carousel breakout sessions, business office, HR information, special ed updates, civil rights, 504, Title IX, student records, hazing and bullying, McKinney-Vento guidance information. McKinney-Vento is the Homelessness Act, if anybody wants to know that. Technology changes and updates, opening of school information, school culture, discipline, and the AP's office, Assistant Principal's Office information. And then we tried something different, sort of a scavenger hunt for the staff, and they absolutely, and I know Superintendent Lynch can speak to this, but they had a blast. And what we did is we put them into teams at Wildcat Shop, Stops, and Showdown. One campus, all shops, no limits. And basically they were set into teams, and they had tasks like scavenger hunts, and it was all about the shops and questions about shops. And the first team that won came back into the cafeteria They ended up winning certificates to the Poets Inn for the cafe and some breakfast. So it was like a competition, and they really, really got involved, and they had a blast. Sort of easing their way into the year and back into the teaching. On Tuesday, August 26th, our freshmen and new students were introduced to Whittier, and they had the chance to navigate their daily schedules. We're very fortunate, like I said, to have 50 student leaders guiding them through the day. And that's amazing. It's powerful, when we have our students leading the show, and they all had the same T-shirts on as student leaders, and it's great with all the incoming new freshmen and some of the new students. It's good to see that our kids are just running strong. Over the course of 3 days, August 27th, 28th, and September 2nd, we still have some orientation for our freshmen. They participate in orientation, which including team building activities in the gym, such as Jenga, Deserted Island, musical chairs, tug of war, free throw and basketball, people bingo. Additionally, our vocational coordinators gave presentations on important topics like work ethic, rules, shop dress code, the Wildcat speaker series that goes around, and the athletic clubs, including the half day of the PD and team building exercises. The goal was to get everybody involved, all the new students and our freshmen and the new students to our school. A big thank you, I have to say, goes out to our vocational coordinators, Amanda Crosby and Paul Muskovitz, and the rest of the staff and the student leaders who made this event a real success, and it continued, and hopefully it works every year for our new students that come to our building. On Wednesday, everybody showed up through the doors, reported to school, where the assistant principals and I met with them in the assemblies, and to review the parent-teacher handbook and the code of conduct, with particular emphasis on harassment, bullying, our cell phone policy, which we tweaked up a little bit, and so far so good. Cell phone policy, including cell phone locker policy. Additionally, the guidance department, co-op coordinator, athletic director, associate principal, and class advisors gave grade level specific presentations as well. And then on Wednesday, also our Northern Essex fall 2025 semester, 219 of our early college students began as well. 102 students went over to the campus during week 1, while 117 went over during week 2. And on those days that they're not in the classroom, they're professional, they are diligently working on their coursework and assigned study areas, and they receive support from Whittier Tech and Northern Essex early college coordinators. I'm sure Ricky can talk about that. Also, another positive, we have 384 students participating in fall sports. That's awesome, so get involved. Another way to get involved, our club fair is taking place this week, and Katrina Jensen and Ms. Fleming and I will meet the club advisors and discuss, more about the club fair and see how we're doing, see how the kids signing up, but it's out there for everybody. So hopefully everybody's signing up. We have 20 extracurricular clubs for kids to get involved in Whittier Tech. And finally, Whittier continues its commitment to safety. We had our first fire drill that wasn't planned. The fire department, they usually come out right away, and we're tweaking up our evacuation sites, as well as we're gonna start to get a schedule of the Alice drills that we do. So that's what I have for you. It feels like we've been here for months.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Dick.
Cell phone policy, that's a touchy thing everywhere. Have you had any resistance against it, any problems?
Yeah, it's a very good question, because you hear that, they want to eventually ban the state. But we've had a policy into place for a while, and each year we're tweaking it up, and I don't want to jinx it, but, and I'll explain the cell phone policy, but it's been working out very well. So what we did this year was, it wasn't an expectation that the cell phones, when they get into their shop area, or they get into their classroom, we have the cell phone lockers. And it's definitely, they have to put it, we put it in the handbook that they have to put it in before they sit down for their academics or they go into their vocational area. Kids can use their phone on the bus, when they come to the cafeteria, when in the morning for breakfast, as well as and then they go up to their homerooms, then it's shut down, then it's off to like work or off to their classrooms. During lunches, they can also use their cell phone, but other than that, the phones are locked up. They can't use them to go to the bathrooms, or they should be in the lockers. And so far, so good in talking with the assistant principals. And again, I don't want to jinx it because we just started, but they said, things are working out. But we have to stay on it. Today, we reminded the staff of the protocols, especially with the cell phone policy, that, you just have to stay with that consistent, let's start the class, everybody put them in there. And we found, especially with the vocational areas, it just rises the level of participation in what they're doing, and their concentration is amazing. So far, so good.
And the reason why I asked that, and I talked to a lot of people, and it's tough. These kids, they're addicted, holding these phones.
Yeah, we all are, right? Adults are addicted to the phones, and kids are addicted to the phones.
I have a flip phone.
Yeah, I'd like to go back to one of those, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's part of life, and we try to teach them and educate them in the positive ways, in the social media, and how to use the phones, because it's part of us now, correct? For everybody.
Great job for you and your staff, and I know you've been working on this for 3 or 4 years, and you are tweaking it from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we're definitely tweaking it. I know when the state came out and it was on the the TV, and they were talking about completely banning, but if school systems had really good positive protocols into place, then they said it would leave it up to the school system. So I'm hoping that will be the case for us, because right now
It's working.
it's working. So
Thank you.
we don't want to fix anything yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Thank
very
you,
much.
everyone.
Next item on the agenda, Business Manager, Ms. Cosmas.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent Lynch, members of the committee. Just a little update for you on the Whittier Tech Educational Foundation. I'd like to update you on what we've been doing a couple of times during the year. On August 11th, we had our 8th annual golf tournament. It was at Bradford Country Club. We had 129 golfers that teed off, and we also had an additional 32 people who joined us for lunch. We received many, many sponsorships and donations for the event, and we netted over $15,500 in revenues for the foundation, which, as you know, all of the revenues that we earn for the foundation go to our students. So on behalf of the Planning Committee, I wish to thank the staff at Bradford Country Club, all of the event attendees, the sponsors, the donors, and all the volunteers who helped to make this event such a success. Our athletic director did come in first, but unfortunately, Ms. Lynch was not on his team this year, so she was disappointed, and it was a very, very, very hot day. But everybody seemed to have a great time. And I just wanted to let you know that the next event that we will be sponsoring will be our second Athletic Hall of Fame celebration, and that's going to take place on Friday, October 24th. It will be at Haverhill Country Club. The tickets, I believe, are $85 each, and sponsorship information, along with the listing of all of the honorees, can be found on the Whittier Tech website under the foundation heading. Our last Hall of Fame did sell out, and we expect this one too, so if any of you would like to attend, I suggest you reach out to us or get your tickets or contact the superintendent or Mr. Leganis or myself. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is reports and recommendations of the superintendent. Madam Superintendent.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. The first part of my report is a little bit of a repeat of what Mr. Leganis said, but I'll go quickly. As you know, August 25th, our staff reported for the first day of school. The administration did a phenomenal job. They were exhausted after it was all over. I think they did 5 or 6 small presentations, but we do feel like the smaller presentations are a better way of getting back and forth and participation, and so that everybody's on the same page. But they did information sessions on school discipline, technology, special education, business and HR information, civil rights, 504, Title IX, bullying, school records, school culture, and opening school information. So it was a very full day of a lot of information, but then like Mr. Leganis said, we had the scavenger hunt where teachers needed to know shop information or English information, math, and they had colors and they ran around the building and, you know, we got extra points for noise and spirit, so it was really a really fun little event that we had. On August 26th, all of our new students attended. We're allowed to be in school without the other classes with them, so the freshmen and new students had the building to themselves. This is a great way to get them acclimated to the transportation, to the building, and of course, the Whittier Way. On August 27th, all of our students returned, and it was great to have a full building again. When the students came in the week before school, sports had started, so, you know, I love to hear the noise. You know, I was like, okay, we're getting ready. You know, that anxiety of the beginning of school kind of went away when I hear the kids. Athletics is in full swing. Our first home football game is Thursday night against Lawrence. Whittier Tech's night school starts on Monday, September 15th. We currently have 288 adult students signed up for electrical, plumbing, and journeyman. We have 350 students enrolled in our enrichment courses. This year, we'll be having a focus on kindness and giving back to our community, and there's some really great ideas floating around and in the works, and once they materialize, I will be sure to share with you, but I think you'll be very happy with some of the ideas. Our open house is set for November 3rd. We're looking for our theme and how to ensure that our entire community is aware of the opportunities that are available to them here at Whittier Tech. Today, there was a meeting with the municipal leaders. We discussed MSBA's eligibility process, the concerns about the regional agreement, and the desire to keep meeting monthly. I think it was a very productive meeting, and I will say, you know, I said, do you want to keep meeting monthly? And everyone at the table said, yes, these meetings are great. They're very involved. They really have a desire to find a path forward for Whittier, and I really couldn't be any more thankful and appreciative of them giving up the time that they have of their busy schedules to be a part of this, along with Northern Essex, because this is really important to our Whittier Tech community, and so I'm so grateful for that time. Tonight you heard about the process of amending the regional agreement. It's important to note that all amendments of the regional agreement must be approved in order for us to move into schematic design, which follows the feasibility stage. So it's really important that we start getting to work on this, because as you hear, it could take a year or more for us to amend that regional agreement, because then we also have to take it to all the town meetings and all the city councils. It's definitely a process. But at that point, we should know what the preferred option is. So building at Northern Essex Community College, which I think everyone is really excited about that opportunity, building here at Whittier Tech, renovating Whittier Tech, or renovation in addition at Whittier Tech. So those are the things that we're going to be kind of moving through in the next, but really looking at the regional agreement while we're working through the MSBA process is really going to be important. So that is all I have for you tonight regarding that.
All right. And then we have, under the superintendent's report, the Fitzgerald.
You said the feasibility study, before we move forward with that, we have to have the regional agreement. When, roughly, how long do we have for that feasibility study to start?
So the feasibility study, as I remember, and I'll have to double check that, is generally about a year and a half to work through that feasibility study. So we have a year and a half to work through that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want me to go on to the next thing?
The goals?
Yes.
Yes.
So before you tonight are my goals for 2005, 2006. As you can see, you know, a lot of the student learning goals have to do with early college and MyCap and improving our CTE programs and being a part of their professional learning community. My professional practice goal goes along with the MSBA process, which is a significant opportunity for Whittier Tech. It's also a significant amount of time that we need to work through that process. And then my professional growth goals is to continue to develop my leadership skills and using the strategic plan and school improvement plan to do that.
All right. Any questions on the proposed goals?
Just a quick question, like with early college, do you know what percentage of students right now are participating in early college, and you know what your goals are for that?
Right. So the principal just said 210 students right now. I think he said 210 students participating in early college. Last year, I think it was in the 180 range. I think the more students participate in early college, the more opportunities that they have as far as receiving college credit while they're at Whittier Tech and have the support services. So I would love to see every senior participate in early college if that's what they choose to do, or a junior and senior. So, you know, we're continuing to grow the program. We want to make sure that while we can grow the program, that we're providing the supports needed for success in that program.
Mr.
Just looking over the goals, I had two questions, but just, can you explain MyCap? I'm not sure what that is.
Sure. MyCap is a new initiative from DESE. It's really about career planning, starting in the middle school, moving forward for students. So, you know, the hope is that when students are in the 7th and 8th grade, they understand what career technical education is, so that you know, pathway starts working through at that grade. So some of the things that we're doing here is looking at each of the CTE programs and looking at what do those pathways look like, what courses should you be taking. We've done a lot of this work already, but what elective courses should you be taking, what science, what math, what courses you should be taking, and then looking at what articulation agreements we already have in place, and then looking at what early college programs we could work, and then looking at pathways for, you know, the community college. You know, if you want to be an LPN, you know, Northern Essex has an LPN program. If you want to be a dental hygienist, well, Middlesex Community College. So looking at all those things and laying that out, but each student will have their own kind of plan put in place for that.
Okay, that's great. And then just one question, there's another one. The History Civic Engagement Project, how is that different from a junior-senior project? I didn't.
So it's the same.
It's
So,
the same
yeah.
thing? Okay, thank you. Okay, all right, I'm good. Thanks.
Any other questions? Mr. Bagley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there, for the year, is there a set amount of students that Whittier Tech can send to NECO, or is that like unlimited?
I don't feel like we've had a limit yet,
Okay.
right? So I think that that's something that we'll continue to work on. I can tell you that I was at a meeting with the Commissioner of Education, the new Commissioner of Education, Pedro Martinez, and I will never forget that name, that he really believes in early college and is really supportive of early college and getting as many students as we possibly can involved in early college. So it's a great opportunity.
Thank you.
If I could add on that, I mean, I've heard policy people on the state level hope that the goal is at least 30% of high school students are participating. So based on that, they are, you know, giving enough reason, they're trying to provide that kind of resource, capacity-wise. We have a long way to go.
Right. It's always all about the money.
Anyone else? Is there a motion to approve the goals?
Motion to approve superintendent's goals.
Second.
By Mr. Murphy, seconded by Ms. Drew. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Early?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger?
Yes.
Ms. Delai?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Mr. Paglia?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Bo?
Yes.
Ms. True?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
And the chair.
Yes, passes. Strategic plan?
So the strategic plan, I know it's many pages long, but you know, at Whittier, we're committed to preparing every student for success in college and career and in life, most importantly. Our 25-26 strategic plan focuses on strengthening academic and technical excellence, supporting our students and staff, fostering a safe and supportive and inclusive environment, and building strong community partnerships and planning responsibly for the future. If there's any individual questions I can answer regarding the plan, I'm happy to do that.
Any questions? Mr. Lyon?
I guess it's not a question so much as a request, and I didn't make it ahead of time, so maybe for future versions of this, I think it would be helpful, kind of building on Mr. Bowe's point, if there was an additional column that actually identified what metric or measurement you're going to use and what that outcome looks like. There's a lot of activity goals in here, I realize that, but there are also some that I think lend themselves to actual measurement, and I think that would just help us evaluate at the end of the year the progress towards the goals in the plan.
Great, thank you.
Anyone else? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Fitzgerald, seconded by
Second.
Mr. Rossi. Further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Early?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger?
Yes.
Ms. Delai?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Mr. Paglia?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Bo?
Yes.
Ms. True?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
And the chair.
Yes, passes. Out-of-state field trip request.
Yes, so I have an out-of-state field trip request for our hospitality program. They'd like to go to the Fairfield Inn and Suites in Exeter, New Hampshire. Then go to Las Bolas Taqueria for lunch. They will have 8 students attending this field trip on October 29th.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Murphy, seconded by
Second.
Ms. Coppinger. Any discussion? I bet you I can guess the question, but go ahead, Mr. Early.
I'm
We have the
prepared.
proper paperwork
Yes.
in line.
We will have the proper paperwork before they go.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
It's very important.
Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Early,
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
Mr. Rossi.
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger.
Yes.
Ms. Delai.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Paglia.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Bo.
Yes.
Ms. True.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
And the chair.
Yes, passes. Thank you, Madam Superintendent. Old business, the MASC, MASS conference delegates vote. I believe I did get 2 volunteers for it. Ms. Sullivan and Ms. True, am I remembering correctly? Yes? For-
For admissions?
No,
No.
this is the MASC, MASS conference
Yes, I
delegates.
registered, yep.
Okay,
did,
so
yes.
we have to, so does the committee somebody wanna make a motion to appoint Ms. Sullivan and Ms. True as the, which one of you is gonna be the rep and which one's gonna be the alternate? You wanna flip a coin?
I'll
be the alternate.
All right, Ms. True will be the
Wasn't
rep,
planning on going out
Sullivan will be
Wednesday
the
morning.
alternate. Somebody wanna make that as a motion?
For God's sakes.
Anybody? Please.
I move that Ms. True be appointed the delegate to the MASC, MASS joint.
And Ms. Sullivan as the
And Ms.
alternate?
Sullivan as the
I'll
alternate.
second that.
All right, motion by Ms. Delai, seconded by Mr. Early. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Early,
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
Mr. Rossi.
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger.
Yes.
Ms. Delai.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Paglia.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Bo.
Yes.
Ms. True.
Sure.
Ms. O'Connor.
I'll help you.
Chair.
Yes, passes.
Great.
Good luck. Look forward to hearing. So recap. Next item on the agenda is establish school building committee members. Madam Superintendent, do you want me to take it? Do you want to take it? Okay. Everybody should have got today a copy of the proposed members
It was
of
separate, it was sent separately.
of the school building committee. Each city and town's chief executive officer, the school building authority asks that they sign off on a member and recommend a member to us, so those are reflected in here, as well as other designations that are reflected in here as well. So any questions, let me know. Ms. Delai.
So, by my count, there are 23 members, one from each of the cities and towns, with the exception of Haverhill, appears to me has 5, and then there are 6 employees and 2 NECO representatives. I just am interested in hearing the rationale for it's not a judgment, but the disproportionate representation of Haverhill.
I'm not sure that there was at least when we looked at it, I wasn't really looking where people were from. I was looking at more of the talents that they brought to the table and how they could help move the project forward versus their address.
Yeah, if I could just follow up, that if you look, there's, everybody had one designee that was placed in the appropriate box, if you will, to line up to the different functions that MSBA provides. But then for Haverhill, there are 3 representatives, and then you and Mr. Early are also appointed, which makes the 5. But even if you take that aside, because it seems that Mr. Early is the only one that has actual construction experience, so certainly that's expertise we would see warranted for this committee, but I was just unclear why everybody else has 1, but Haverhill has 3, other than the 2 of you.
So I think there was only 2 extras because the chairperson goes under one of the categories, which is myself. Mr. Early was added under the construction.
Yep.
And then there's only 2 other members that were added.
And isn't the chair fluid?
Yes.
For Haverhill, there is Mr. Mitchison, Mr. Rurak, and Ms. O'Brien.
Correct. So there was 2 extras. One was appointed by the mayor.
So I'm still unclear as to why there's disproportionate representation.
I think I answered the question.
So what was the answer?
I looked at what people brought to the table. I didn't look at their address.
I understand, but there's 3 from Haverhill, other than yourself and Mr. Early, and
Right,
one
there's
from-
2 extras.
And one from, there's 3 from Haverhill, right, 2 above and beyond.
Yes.
Yep. If I could, also, I have a follow-up, I guess, if I could, unless somebody else has a question. I feel like this is probably one of the most important decisions that certainly I will make in my tenure here on the school committee. 3 years from now, whenever we get to the point of having to get a vote of the communities on a project scope and budget, people are definitely gonna hold us accountable as school committee members for the decision that we make here today, so I don't take it lightly at all. The decisions that this school building committee are gonna make are who's gonna be the OPM, they're gonna decide on the preferred schematic design that comes out of feasibility study, and everything that goes into the project scope and budget. If people ask me 3 years from now, did you do your due diligence to appoint these people? God forbid things don't go as well as possible. I think I would feel comfortable if I knew that there was a fair and transparent process that was outlined and was used by all communities in the same way, that there were some clear guidelines for what led to the selection of the various candidates, and that we, as members of the committee doing the appointing, had some understanding of the resumes and the qualifications of these candidates. But we have none of those things, and we actually just received the list today. So I feel like I'm being asked to buy a $3 million house sight unseen. I feel a little uncomfortable. I know you're asking us to have complete faith in what the community's put forward, but I do want to be very cognizant of the fact that that's not going to be an acceptable response 3 years from now if things don't go as planned or as well as planned about our decision here tonight and whether we made a truly informed decision. So I just wanted to note that while I know the time is of the essence and we have to submit this list by September 30th, we started this process late and here we are tonight. Certainly don't want to be an obstructionist, but I do want to note that, and I'm unclear at this moment that I can actually support this without better information on how these candidates will best represent us in this very important effort.
Any other questions? Mr.
Oh,
No,
go ahead.
you meet me.
Okay, yeah, I spoke with, some constituents and we felt comfortable with the Newbury representative. Committee. Sorry, can you hear me? Sorry, I spoke with some Newbury folks and they felt comfortable, with the recommendation, so I felt comfortable with that. I think that what other towns have put forth, I don't know that I am in any position to question what the other towns have decided, or the people that they've decided, to represent them. I don't know that I can question it. I can see some information here. I don't know that I need their resumes. I know that sometimes this committee can be meeting for 5 years and people come and go from the committee. I've heard this from other people. So I feel comfortable now making this vote based on the information that we have.
So, I mean, just really to understand this, everything. So we have 25 members on the committee. 14, or actually, no, I take that back. 11 communities, correct? So we have at least 11.
Mhm.
Theoretically, we should have at least one person per community. And then there are 14 that are, you know, I know they need to fit certain criteria, et cetera, but at the end of the day, they're somewhat discretionary that you have the ability to look at. And so I guess my first question, and I didn't really think of this, but I guess, I think the point is good that, you know, we really need to be conscientious about, you know, our community's feelings, taken into consideration, you know, the previous vote, for the new school. There is a great deal of questions, apprehension, etc. And I think that, as Mary had pointed out, all of the people are so well qualified, particularly the former mayor of Haverhill, as I look at that. But unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever, I mean, we need to have the perception of a balanced committee. And if we don't have a perception of a balanced committee, I just think, you know, we need to land this 11 planes on the same aircraft carrier. And we've got to do this flawlessly. And I do think from a perception point of view, we're missing, this does not meet that criteria. And I think we, you know, unless, again, I noticed some were just down as residents, I don't know what communities, this and that, and I hate to be, you know, community, you know, oriented and et cetera, but we've gone through an experience that we, in my 4 meetings that I've been to, this is the first time it's been brought up, at least, you know, so I'm cognizant of it, and I think it's important that we have, you know, this has nothing to do with the people picked. I'm sure they're highly qualified people, including myself. But I think from a perception point of view, I think it needs to change.
Who else? Mr. Arnold?
Last but not least, thank you. A lot of moving parts here. This is a big commitment. It's probably 5 to 7 year commitment here. It's a lot. The state's involved, which doesn't help a lot, the way things are done. I wasn't happy on some of the things before, but the state's involved, and, you know, they're, number one, they're involved big with money, but to pick contractors or architects on just over a conference call, however you want to do it, I'm not in favor of that, but we have no choice. They're holding the cards, we're not. We tried before, we could have done a better job. We've got to forget about what happened before, we got to go forward. I believe this is a very exciting thing for everybody. But like you said, there's a lot of things we have to look for. I wouldn't want to be sitting in Scott's position, having to put all this together, all right? Somebody has to be responsible, and right now, the responsibility is going to be right up there in that chairperson, all right? In the past, we didn't have a lot of strong chairpersons sitting there delegating a lot of this stuff. Before, you just pick out of a hat. I don't know. We didn't know how a lot of those things were done. But there's a lot of good questions here. Myself, I looked at it, a lot of credible people, like you said, but sometimes there's a lot of them. Actually, I've counted this 3 times. It's 24. 22 plus Northern Essex, okay? So, you know, let's just go forward, try to play the cards we have now, but this is a tough thing. I don't care who's on it, it's tough. And when you have all these communities, you know, there's 11 communities, plus Haverhill has 2, the other 2 cities have 2, and it makes it up to 14 with us. But last time we had 15 or 16, I thought that was a lot. Now we're up to 24. So, a lot of good questions here, and I'm gonna support this that they have right here, the way it is. I mean, there's a lot of thinking was in there, not just by us, by a lot of these communities and cities and towns. I wanna thank you.
Any other?
I heard from my selectman tonight prior to the meeting, and he spoke about the school building committee, and he mentioned that these people have been together for a little bit now with the other meetings regarding Northern Essex and everything else. And his word to me was that they were working really well together. Things were meshing, things were moving forward, and he was very happy with what was put together. So, on that account, my only question I really have is, I know we talked in the past regarding the Northern Essex, the two members. If, as the process moves forward, we find it's not beneficial to use Northern Essex as building here or one of the other plans, will they still be on the committee, or will they be dropped off since they are no longer?
I mean, I would assume that they would resign
Yeah.
at that point. I mean,
Right.
they wouldn't want to
Right, carry on.
waste all of their time on a project that's not on their campus.
Right. That's it.
I too got a call from my board of selectmen today. He came back from the meeting and he was so excited. He said, I went because the town manager wasn't available to go, and I went, and I'm gonna go to all the rest of them. He was like, that was really an interesting meeting, and he was really excited about the project. And, I mean, you're doing what we have to do. We have to reach out to the communities. We've gotta be, like I said to him, I'll come make a presentation in front of the selectmen. I mean, we gotta go in front of the selectmen, the finance committee, and tell them what's happening, and so there are no surprises. But it was funny. I'm like, Mark, Charlie Sapersky wants me to call. You know, I was like, what's going on? So I was very pleased, because I thought he might tell me, like, you know, have us leave the district or something. But so I think that it's good.
Mr. Early?
I got two calls today, one from the superintendent, one from the mayor of Haverhill. Both said the same thing, that it was probably the best meeting, and that come from two different people. Best meeting they've had since this has started, or in a long time, which is very encouraging, that they're all working together.
Mr. Lay?
I just want to clarify, I think you guys are talking about the municipal working group, and I think it's wonderful, and I also just want to say that municipal working group is not who is being named here. There may be some overlap, but the school building committee is not, and that's not who's going to be the school building committee, so I think that's important to distinguish. I also want to clarify, I have no issues at all with the work that the chair has done. He's asked for names to be submitted from the towns and the cities, and they have done that. My concern is we don't know anything about these people, and it's not just, I know Mr. Cousins, I do know the Newburyport representative, and I did receive information from the mayor about why he selected Mr. Cousins, but my role is not to just pick or approve my representative from Newburyport, it's to vote on the entire body that is 23. I think that it's actually 23 because Maureen is on there twice under two different categories, but to basically vote on the whole body. And there are many people on this list that I know nothing about, and I don't believe that people in the future are going to accept the fact, like, I just accepted it because that's what was put forward, without knowing anything about their qualifications for the role. It just makes me very uncomfortable.
Ms. O'Connor?
I assume there's a deadline to vote on this?
Yes, there is. The end of September 30th, I have to turn this in. We were put into eligibility on August 1st. We've been working with the municipal group to send us information regarding who their nominee would be. Each city and town did it differently. I mean, I don't think I can tell the cities and towns how to go through that process of how they're gonna appoint nominees. When I've read the list, it seems to me that the nominees bring a depth of experience that will be helpful through the project.
So I will say that I saw Mr. Ly's email earlier in the week about reviewing the candidates, and I thought long and hard about Mr. Ly's point. And I was very cognizant that the chairperson that sat here before me is probably no longer sitting here because of some of the things that happened under the prior chairmanship and the school building committee appointments and things like that. So I'm certainly cognizant that of those things in the past. And as I thought through it, where the school building authority specifically asked for the cities and towns to provide one representative, I thought at that point, some of them appointed themselves. At least one town manager appointed themselves. I wasn't sure, I understood Ms. Delai's argument of, or point, not argument, I understood her point of, like, I know the Newburyport representative, but I might not know, well, in this case, she knows West Newbury, but let's say she doesn't know the Amesbury representative. So I understood that point. But I was also concerned that if we went back and told the chief executive officers that we didn't necessarily, we wanted to interview their candidates, that, first of all, we'd have to interview literally a town manager to see if he was qualified. I was worried about the cooperation moving forward among the cities and towns, the amount of trust that we have in each other moving forward, whether that potentially would sour some relationships moving forward, whether a mayor would say, excuse me, you're not gonna, I'm the chief executive officer of my city, and you don't trust that I am putting a name forward. So I was looking at it from a multitude of different ways, and I just wasn't sure that that was the way that was best to create cohesiveness moving forward. So I certainly respect and understand Ms. Delai's argument, and that was what I was balancing when I thought through it. And the potential of the backlash from some of those town managers, mayors, and what that does with our cooperation moving forward was a concern to me.
I just want to clarify, really clear. It's not that I question the candidates that people have put forward. It's that I have zero information other than the current role they hold, like chair of a select board or former mayor of something. And if somebody were to ask me 3 years from now, what basis did you use for approving that, I don't think that they're going to be thrilled with, well, that's what the people submitted, but I had zero information. So it would have just been helpful to have a little bit of information as to what was the rationale for selecting that person, what are the qualifications that they bring to it, so that we could feel good about saying, this is a great committee. And there's many people on here, people here on the committee who I'm thrilled are going to be on it, but there's many people who I don't know anything about, and I'm being asked to just, it would have just been nice to have something to be able to sink my teeth into, to say, yep, I see why the qualification, I see why this person was appointed.
And I agree, some cities, I think, sent a letter with some of the qualifications. Not everyone did. Everybody followed whatever policy. I believe Rowley went to their Board of Selectmen and got a vote. I don't believe that some of the mayors did that. I'm not sure that there was an open competitive process in those communities. They appointed whatever process they internally used, I'm not sure. And I know I did see, I think I saw a letter from the mayor of Newburyport on his representative. But not every community, I don't believe, supplied those things to us.
But I applied, to be honest, and I had to send them a resume.
Mhm.
They wanted to know. I think we have to realize that our towns care about Whittier, hopefully, and are wanting to put the best people possible on it. And, so I was kind of surprised that they asked for my resume. I was like, but so I think that, and I know how Rowley went out. Rowley had advertised in the paper, and I think we have to give the towns some credit for doing their due diligence.
Some didn't.
What?
Some didn't.
And she's right. Everybody did their own thing. Each individual town did their own thing. Mr. Murphy?
Correct. Each individual town did their own thing, the way they wanted to interview or how to select their person. Is
Yep.
that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And on this list, after each person's name, it gives a description of what their background is, basically.
Yes.
So they just didn't get thrown into a hat.
Correct.
Something correct.
Yeah, each city and town submitted, Haverhill said, we're submitting a city councilor. Amesbury submitted a former school committee member and school building committee member. Two of our communities submitted representatives that sit on this board. Other committees Groveland sent a finance board member. Newbury sent a select board member. Salisbury sent the chairman of their select board. So all of those are notated in there.
I mean, all due respect, I don't think we really need to see resumes and read resumes from each of these people after the towns have already interviewed them or, you know, not done a background check, but,
Yep.
you know,
I know.
review it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will also say, I was also worried when I found out I was gonna be voting on a school building committee. I didn't know anybody who was gonna be on the committee, but after this list, I will say this, it does provide who these people are. I wouldn't, as far as support it, if I didn't know anything about them, but I've read every person on this list, and I can say I have confidence that these people are qualified. And look, this is a process, it's a long process, and now we're crunched on time. This got pushed back and pushed back, and I would have started this earlier. I agree with Mary starting it earlier, but we didn't. So now we're crunched on time. We have till the 30th of September, and we have to go for it now.
And I will say, every individual that's volunteered or agreed to serve on this, it's a tremendous responsibility. They're not getting paid. I'm not sure that they're getting much except the ability to try to help their communities, to help the region, and to do, to help kids. Otherwise than that, I don't really see a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for serving 5 or 6 years on a school building committee. I've served on, can't remember, 3 or 4 of them now, and they're long, they're tedious, and they're a lot of hard work. Not exactly a lot of fun work. It's hard work and a lot of commitment.
And I'd like to add too the complexity of getting all these people who meet certain criteria. It's not an easy thing to do when you have 11 communities, all these communities. So we should be grateful that we've fulfilled all these requirements. It's a hard thing to do, and we have it now, and I'd say that's the best path forward. While we have these people who are willing to dedicate 5-6 years towards this.
Mr. Early?
Mary, you said you talked to the mayor in Newburyport. I was surprised the mayor of Newburyport didn't appoint that gentleman right over there, not because he's a member on this committee. He's a builder, a very successful one, been around a long time, gone down 50 feet, putting piles in, similar to the bad soils we have here. So I was surprised that Newburyport didn't do that. So here's a contractor versus, I believe he's a politician that, so.
Mr. Lisley,
All I'll say, so I have served on 6 school building committees, and this is the first time, this is the least amount of information I've ever seen on school building committees. We do not have a great deal of information. We have their current role, a select board member, town manager. That's all we have. We don't really know what their qualifications are or the rationale for why they were selected. I'm not saying that I'm not trying to disrespect it, but I have to be able to justify why I approved this slate of candidates, and I just am feeling like there's not a whole lot of information. And to your point, many districts, you said they went through a process, many did not go through a process. Many had no interviews, no nothing. They picked somebody without any consultation with anybody at all. So it's not fair to say that everybody did a process.
How do you know that? How do you know that communities didn't go through a process?
Because people have told me what the process was in their communities, that there's one person that appointed themselves, actually 2 people that appointed themselves. I know what the process was or wasn't in Newburyport. I know what the process was. I know that in Ipswich and Rowley, they did have a process.
They even put an article in the paper.
And that makes me feel good that there was actually a process put in place that they actually cared enough to go through that type of effort. And not all the towns did.
Mr.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question both to Mary and Sandy through you.
Yes.
Are you guys, how many names did your city's communities forward to be nominated? Was it just Frank Cousins? Or
Yes.
Okay, so he only forwarded one name, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm not aware.
yeah. And I guess, Mr. Chairman, and Mary at least, and whoever else has been on a building committee, a separate question. You know, obviously, we want participation and knowledge, et cetera, of the Whittier professional staff. But what's your experience in terms of the makeup of, you know, a building committee? And I know that, you know, we got so many layers. We got regional, et cetera, but a building committee that's like 30%-ish on the, you know, professional staff level and 70% within, you know, school committee and community. I mean, is that a good mix, or is that, what's your experience? I've never been on one, that's why I'm asking.
I can tell you, I mean, I think that the representation by the staff appointments are outstanding, and I have no issues. I know who these people are. I know them probably because I sit on the school committee. It's the representative of the town, and it's also the lack of representation. There's nobody on here representing the architectural engineering community. We have one construction professional, Mr. Early, thank goodness, but nobody. These are all, to his point, these are all elected officials, none of whom have architectural engineering school construction experience.
Mr. Chair, your experience, you've been on?
So I've been on 4 now, Pumpkin, Haver High School, Constantino. So I think the makeup of professionals on here is pretty good. I mean, so on the ones that I served on, the other individuals were whoever the mayor appointed by statute, so there was a combination. I don't remember too many people in the architectural fields or whatever. Maybe there was always 1 or 2 maybe. A lot of them were other elected officials, school committee members, city councilors, things like that. I know that there was, you know, people that maybe were known in the community for their raising money for projects, got put on committees and stuff like that. I can say that at least the building committees that I served on, when we started and when we finished, the committee looked far different, and I anticipate that this one will do the same. It's a working document. You know, you can add. I'm sure at some point there's going to be resignations of people that have committed, and after a year or two, they have something else go on. They can no longer serve. They're going to resign. So it's always a working document of people that are there, and the people that you start with, you'll have some finish, but probably the minority of them will actually stay through. It's true.
I just had a comment. So this project, no matter what, will be built in Haverhill. So I don't have a problem with the number of Haverhill representatives, just because it's going to be this municipality, no matter what, right? If it's over at NECC, it's still Haverhill, right? That's all Haverhill, right? The whole campus. It's not divided. So, and same here. So I don't have a problem with having slightly more Haverhill representation.
Anyone else? Is there a motion to approve the school building committee names as presented?
Motion to approve the school building.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Rossi, seconded by Mr. Early. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Early?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger?
Yes.
Ms. Delai?
Present.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Mr. Paglia?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Bowe?
No.
Ms. True?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor? Yes. And the chair.
Yes, passes. Thank you to those individuals that have offered their services free of charge for a number of years. I appreciate them volunteering to serve their communities, and I have confidence that they'll all do a good job, so thank you to them. Next item on the agenda. New business, establish an admissions subcommittee. I think we need to formally establish that subcommittee, correct?
Yes.
I believe I got from Ms. Sullivan, Mr. Early looked to serve, I believe Mr. Bowe. Who am I missing? Who else asked me? Ms. Delai. Was there one more that asked me? Oh, and Ms. Lowell. So there was 5 that have asked. So if we could have a motion to establish that admissions subcommittee, and those will be the members that volunteered to serve.
As well as yourself?
Not me.
Motion to establish the Admissions Committee.
Motion by Ms. Trues. Is there a second?
Who was the second?
Ms. Sullivan. So the chairman can serve as an ex officio member of any of the subcommittees, so I didn't need to appoint myself. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Early?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger?
Yes.
Ms. Delai?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Mr. Paglia?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Bowe?
Yes.
Ms. True?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
And the chair.
Yes, passes. Establish a committee to review and possibly amend the regional agreement. Is there a motion to establish a committee to review and possibly amend the regional agreement? Are you
I have a question first.
Yep.
So what the gentleman tonight was talking about earlier, we said form a regional agreement amendment committee. Is this the same thing, or is this
Yes.
a different? Okay.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Close, seconded
Second.
by Mr. Murphy. Any discussion on the establishment of the committee? Mr. Lai?
Are we going to establish, like, a number, representation? I mean, who's going to decide what the membership of this committee will be?
That's a good question that didn't really ask of, I believe it's the full school committee that would appoint, you had the meetings, I wasn't there, so.
Right, so, going along with the meeting that we had today with the municipal leaders, they would really like to be that regional agreement committee, because we have worked really hard since day one. From where we were a year and a half ago to where we are now is truly amazing, and the work and the camaraderie and the, having difficult discussions and then still, agreeing to disagree, but still agreeing to move forward. And so I felt today very hopeful, but they would like to be the representatives of that committee. So whether you want to have one person from each town be a voting member of that committee, some town managers bring a select board member, the thing is our region's so different, right? So we have 3 cities that have mayors, then we have town managers, then you have town administrators. So I think having one representative from each city and town be the voting member, but while also having others at the committee, including, members of our school committee, be a part of that, if they choose to be a part of that.
Thoughts, feedback? Ms. True?
I heard from my chair that this working group is working very, very well together, and he felt that they would make a good team to work on the regional agreement, which I know in the past in other towns it's been difficult to get a group that can work well together. That's half the battle right there. So it sounds like that we could have a core group ready to go, and then we could add to it if we so choose.
Mr. Murphy?
It sounds like they're working good together, and they probably already have some ideas. And I also think it's a good idea that each town has one vote, regardless of how many people they have at the table.
Mr. Bowe?
Yeah, well, who did not get a call from a mayor or a town manager today?
Me.
Really? Yeah, no, I mean, in the last year and a half, the superintendent has done an excellent job working with the town leaders, the community leaders, to pull it back. And again, my comments and my vote is a reflection on just needing to do it perfectly. And so far, it's been great, and that's the feedback we're getting. And they've been driving the bus. Ultimately, they're going to drive the bus on this, and definitely, some of us should be involved. Some of us should be on that. But I'm in full support of it.
The working committee. Mr. Rossi?
Yeah, I've been contacted by Representative Chu saying that the committee's working great together. I'd like to keep that committee solid as it is going forward, and they feel like they'll be able to make some great strides in getting this accomplished in a timely manner.
Mr. Lai?
I too received correspondence from the mayor. I do think that there's some great merit to having one representative from each town. This working group has been working well together. My only concern is, I would not want to go forward with zero representation from this school committee. I would think, I heard Mr. Hemmen talk about, like 7 and 7, 7 from the school committee, 7 from the working group. I don't think if we're gonna include the whole working group, that's gonna work, but at the very least, maybe 3 or 4 school committee members that could join them. And I think that's actually advantageous to build out the collaboration even further beyond the working group.
I would agree with Mr. Lai that I didn't get I'm hurt. I didn't get a phone call. Feelings. Probably won't sleep tonight. But I didn't get that call. But anyway, I do think the municipal working group would be a good group to put there. I think the question is, do we want a couple members of the school committee, whether that be 3, 4, whatever that number is. I do think it's probably a good thing, because ultimately it has to come back to this board for approval. So having some input that those members can report back to the committee here of the process in that subcommittee. But I do agree that the municipal working group's been working for a while, and I think that they would, be a good choice to represent each of the cities and towns. So I think the only question is how many do we think, we can do that, and do we add 3 school committee members? Do we add 4 school committee members? I don't really have a strong preference. I know he had said something, but if we have all of them in 7, that'd be too massive of a committee, so I would say probably no more. If we did it, maybe no more than 4, because I don't think we want to make it too big that it becomes a really difficult group to, thinking about how many you need present for a quorum, and just the logistics of a super large group as a quote-unquote working group would be difficult. Mr. Lai?
So, I would say, is there a motion on the floor? Did somebody make a motion? So I would say maybe.
We could amend it.
Amend the motion to designate the municipal working group to 11 members, 1 from each community, to serve as the regional amendment, a regional agreement amendment committee, in addition to 4 school committee members. I say 4 just because that produces an odd number in case of voting.
Yep, makes sense. Is there a second to the amendment?
Second.
Second by Mr. Moore. Any discussion on the amendment only? The amendment only, and then it will revert to the item as amended. So
Can you clarify it?
The amendment would be that the building, that the working group, whatever we're calling this group, includes the municipal working group that is already existing, so the representatives there. There's 1 representative from each community, correct, Madam Superintendent?
Sometimes there's 2, but yes.
Okay, but they would only get 1 representative from their community, and then 4 school committee members.
Are the school committee members gonna have a vote?
Yes, they would have a
Or is this
vote.
gonna be the 11 communities and have a vote?
No, the school committee members would have a vote.
So it's 11 plus 4.
Yep. So it's an odd number of 15 if there is.
Thank you.
Ultimately, as was presented, the entire school committee would be voting on any amendments to the regionals agreement.
I have one potential concern with this, however. I would prefer there not to be crossover between the school committee members, to say we nominate 4 school committee members to be on this committee and 2 of them are from Haverhill or from the cities. I think that's disproportionate representation as it pertains to this committee.
Well, I think no matter how you do it, it would be disproportionate. If you had 4 school committee members, they gotta come from somewhere, so it's
Yeah,
gonna
but-
it's gonna make the numbers off.
But I feel it wouldn't be as fair if you have 2 of those 4 from Haverhill. I think there should be a cap for 1 representative.
I can assure you it won't be 2 out of the 4. I sure as hell ain't doing it,
Or from any community, not just Haverhill. From the cities, I think it would be better for this committee to be capped at 1 per community, if we were to add those 4.
I mean, if you wanted to amend,
Friendly amendment?
I mean, to do that, I mean, you can either, if it's appointed by the chair, trust that I'll do that, or if you don't trust me, then don't trust me, and put that in, that's up to you.
We trust you.
I can assure you, I don't wanna do it. So if anyone's worried about that,
It's not only April, there are
Well, is that-
obviously there's a concern about Haverhill.
But there's other cities
And I'm happy
too.
to debate, the Haverhill debate at a time, I'm happy to debate that, of the funding and who funds what and what percentage we fund.
Don't give me- don't
Happy
give
to
me
debate that.
Oh, here we go.
But,
Is it permissible for me to just revise my amendment to add that in?
you wish.
Okay, oh, if that will ease people.
was that? I'm
I'll-
sorry.
I'll revise the amendment that those 4 school committee members, there will only be 1 member representing an individual community.
What was that again?
There'll only be 1 of the 4 school committee members, they can only be 1 from a specific community. So you can have 2 from Newburyport, or 2 from Amesbury, or 2 from Haverhill, only 1.
But we're cities.
We're still cities.
So,
I'll look at this.
who seconded Ms.
Zoya
Delai's amendment?
I seconded the first one.
Yeah. Do you accept the
I
friendly
accept
amendment
the
that
friendly
he
amendment, yes.
offered? Okay. Any further discussion? Mr.
I
Buck?
support it in more of a comment, and I meant to ask him a question, because at one point he said, about community engagement and getting people, and they can work in subcommittees. People hear
They'll-
that?
Yes, they'll appoint, so, right now, it's not the full group that's on so the only item for discussion right now is the amendment.
Yeah, but
So that's
it's
the
more of
makeup.
an informal comment, or at least just to understand the process. I mean, so we could potentially have a couple of subcommittees that, other citizens of different communities and et cetera could be participating in this. When he did allude to that, and I meant to ask it and I didn't. Do you know if that is a possibility?
I would guess that they would take different portions of the regional agreement and break it off into subcommittees, yes.
Right, okay.
If I was to,
So I guess my point or hope was, and it's been confirmed, is there's more opportunity for participation with community people.
Is there, any further discussion on the amendment?
I just wanted to make a suggestion,
Mr.
when we look at our community member, our school committee members, that we look at putting people who have, or at some point, some folks have, experience with municipal finance, because I think that's gonna be really important when you're looking at a regional agreement. So I'm just saying it's something to keep in mind when appointing the 4 members. That's it.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, I'm gonna oppose the amendment. Quite frankly, I take it kind of offensively. I've never appointed someone on the basis of a subcommittee on where they live. I've never done that. So I think it's inferred that I'm looking to somehow stack this committee with Haverhill people, and I'm
No,
not.
but it wasn't just Haverhill people, they were talking about the other towns.
But I'm making the appointment, so it's like that I would intentionally stack it some way. And I wouldn't do that. I don't think I've done that since I've been here as chairperson, and I would never do that, so that's how I feel about it.
I don't think that was the intent, honestly. If that's how you feel, I was just trying to respond to Mr. Paglia's concern, so I'm just as happy to withdraw it, if that's the feeling.
I mean, I even said I wouldn't serve, so,
Well,
that's the way I took it, and, just the way I feel.
well, I apologize for.
So you can call the roll on the amendment.
Mr. Early,
No.
Ms. Sullivan,
Yes.
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger,
Yes.
Ms. Delai,
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Mr. Paglia.
yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Bo,
Yes.
Ms. True,
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor,
Yes.
and the chair.
No, passes. The original item on the agenda, it reverts back, so it'll be to appoint to, the original motion as amended. Now
Yeah.
we'll make a motion, we'll call the roll. Is there any further discussion on the now amended original motion? So it's amended that it got, it has, instead of just establishing the committee, it has the working group, and the school committee members.
So the first one was only the regular motion, just to
That
establish
motion,
the committee?
correct, so
Okay.
it's,
And this
the
one
first
is the
amendment,
amendment.
that, with that amendment that was just passed, so now it's as one.
Okay.
So it's to establish the group with the makeup consisting of the municipal working group of no more than one representative from each community and 4 school committee members, not from more than one community on there. So that's the amended motion.
And that's what they're doing now, okay.
Correct. Any discussion on the amended motion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Early,
No.
Ms. Sullivan,
Yes.
Mr. Rossi.
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger.
Yes.
Ms. Delai.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Paglia.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Bo.
Yes.
Ms. True.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
And the chair.
No. Passes. Next item on the agenda. Items not reasonably anticipated by the chair, 48 hours in advance, there is none. Reports of the special committees, nothing from the executive. Instructional personnel does not have any. Plant operations, Mr. Murphy.
Plant operations, we did have a meeting last month. We had a visit from Weston and Sampson, the engineers that are doing work at the sewage treatment plant. They gave us a overview of what the repairs were done last summer, and Mr. Hardy gave us a report on all the summer projects. And I'd make a motion to approve those minutes of
Motion by Mr.
August
Murphy,
13th.
Second.
seconded by Mr. Fitzgerald. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Early,
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
Mr. Rossi.
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger.
Yes.
Ms. Delai.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Paglia.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Bo.
Yes.
Ms. True.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
And the chair.
Yes, passes. Salaries negotiations, Mr. Early.
I don't think we need a meeting right now. We're going through 5 tough months, 6 tough months, and I don't think we need a meeting right now.
I
Yeah,
think
we just
you
need
do
to-
have minutes for August 13th for approval.
The minutes.
Looks like there's minutes of the salary.
Oh, yes,
For the
yes,
wastewater
yes,
treatment.
yes,
Is that, are you making a motion to approve those minutes?
yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Delai. Any discussion on the salaries and negotiation minutes? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Early,
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
Mr. Rossi.
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger.
Yes.
Ms. Delai.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald. Mr. Paglia.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Bo.
Yes.
Ms. True.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
And the chair.
Yes, passes. Executive session, none posted. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So
Motion
moved.
to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Murphy.
Second.
Got a headache.
Seconded by Ms. Delai. All in favor of adjournment? Aye. Anybody opposed? Seeing none, we are adjourned.